Okay, I think somebody's here. I figured I would just sit peacefully and see if someone showed up. Oh, there's Sue. Um, well, good morning. Friday. Um, weather here is pretty good. It's rained again. My garden is super happy about that. So are my chickens. Um, they've been very hot. I feel worse for them in the summer than the winter because they do seem to stay quite warm together, and they don't seem to mind the cold. But the heat is when it gets so hot. I really do. Um, I mean, I guess worry about them. It's kind of silly, right? I mean, they're out there all the time. They're used to it, but still. Um, Sometimes I have a little sprinkler that I set up in their yard sometimes, um, just to like cool the ground off a little. I don't know. I think it attracts insects into insects also, which they probably really enjoy. So. Hi, Barbara. So I had gosh, I didn't even talk to you guys about it because it was pretty upsetting. Um, it was a few weeks ago. Um, Something got in the chicken yard and killed about half of my chickens, um, which was quite a thing and pretty traumatic for everybody, them and me and my husband, who he's always the first one up, so he saw everything and had to clean up. And well, he didn't have to, but he very kindly cleaned up for me. But yeah, and that was pretty shocking. I hadn't had something like that happen for a while. I'd had some chicks a few years back that I lost in a similar sort of thing where some critter got in and just eat them all. Um, it's probably a fox. We do see foxes around pretty frequently. Never had one get in, but there was a loose place in the fence that he got in. Um, so I'm down to five now, which is I was pretty, I was very sad, and it is a very sad thing. But I try to remember again that there's a circle to all this, right? And foxes need to eat just like chickens need to eat, just like humans need to eat. So um, there's only so much, and that's if you've ever spoken to a farmer or anybody who has crops or livestock, you know that there is a certain uh, game that goes on between the predator and the prey. And sometimes you win and sometimes you lose on that. So now I've got five, and my husband was just looking at them the other day, and he said, well, they look very happy. And I think sometimes, I think in some ways they are. I think they they're getting along better, maybe. Sometimes when you have a bigger group, there are some people who aren't getting along. And there was one we'd known for a while that there was at least one chicken that was sort of picking on the other chickens, but they do it in the coop at night where you can't see. Um, so they'd have, their feathers were, plucked, and just, you could tell that a few of them were getting sort of the short end of the stick. And when you have a group of chickens, and I talk about my chickens a lot because I learn a lot of things from my chickens. There's a good, you can observe a lot about um, relationships and interactions from that. And there's always a couple chickens that are sort of the bottom rung. We talk about the pecking order, and that's where it came from, right? Is chickens. They literally have a pecking order, and um, you will kind of move down that. So what happened was, of course, when the fox came, the the good side of being on the head of the pecking order is that you're the boss. But the bad side is part of the boss's job is to defend the flock. So those were all the people who were taken and killed. The people who were low and needed to be protected, they stayed in the coop. They weren't in the mix, so now they're all left. So they've shifted. Their position in the flock is different now. Um, One of the older chickens has sort of stepped up to be the boss, and everyone else is kind of following behind. Um, but there does seem to be a little more peace, actually, and harmony in my hen house right now, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm sorry that that's what it took to get there, but things always sort of reach their equilibrium. And you may notice that in situations of your own with family relations. And a lot of times we, again, like we have certain roles that we play in a family group or in any sort of group. And people are expected to kind of stay in their lane, right? Play your role. But things get shook up sometimes, right? There are changes in family structures. People pass away or move away. And we have to kind of shift our role and shift what we're doing to fill those voids and to take leadership where we need to. So take a lesson from the chickens. Sometimes things that happen are pretty traumatic, and we're very upset when they happen. But as we look back, we may see the good that comes from every situation. Change is inevitable, and there's always something that we can find that is positive that comes out of pretty much anything that happens. It's what are we going to focus on? Are we going to focus on the loss or on what comes from the loss? Um, it's either one is a valid way to go. Um, Both things happened, but it's your choice which to focus on. Um, and we talk about this a lot in yoga, this duality of light and dark, good and bad, if you want to call it that. And we, all of us, right, have this. Not just the things that happen to us in our life, but within ourselves, we have this capacity. Um, and you'll find the more you focus on the good and the positive, the more your own light side is shining, and the opposite as well. So it's very practical, right? It's a very practical matter to stay focused on the positive. Um, that doesn't mean that we pretend that the bad things didn't happen, um, but to dwell on them is um, it's needless, right? It's suffering for suffering's sake. And we talk about this in yoga as well, that we can, we certainly suffer when something bad happens. Right? Um, there is a loss and a sense of um, recrimination, right? What did I do wrong? What did I forget? What could I have done better? And these aren't necessarily bad feelings, right? This is a way we learn. We educate ourselves about what we may have done wrong, what our part was in this failure or problem that happened. But beyond that, we move on to the next thing. Um, when we stay stuck in that place of recrimination or sadness or sorrow, um, then we are basically just beating ourselves up for no good reason. Um, Sometimes we feel we deserve it, right? What did we, it was our fault. Everything was our fault. And, um, you know, as if we had so much power in the world to have everything be our fault. Um, that's not the case, right? So I think about what happened with the chickens, and I know, well, I should have fixed that fence. I knew there was a space. I knew there was a small space, but I hadn't got around to fixing it. Um, so that, was fine. But I mean, it had been like that for quite a long time. So there had to be, you know, a sequence of events, right? It happened to be that way. A fox happened to come by. It was whatever, it's these sort of cascade event, right? And that's how it is with most things that go wrong in our life. It's not one thing that happens, it's a series of things. And you may have really been the agent of only one of them. Um, so, just as good things. It's so easy for us to take responsibility for the good things that happen, right? Um, and sometimes for the bad things too. But neither are our sole responsibility, right? It's a sequence, it's a chain of events. We may have played a part, but in the end, things played out the way they were going to play out. Um, and we learn what we can from them and we move on, knowing that, you know, there are constantly going to be things that change in our life, for the good and for the bad. At the time, it may seem, but nothing is quite that simple, right? What looks like a bad thing today in a week might turn out to be a good thing. Or you might see how it led to a good thing. So nothing is as simple as we'd like to make it. Um, and rather than get really hung up on labels about what things are, let's just let them be what they are. Um, let them be what they are today. So if something sad happens, we are sad, right? But we move on. If something good has happened, we're happy, right? But we also move on because we know that's not going to last either. Um, so that's right. That's the old saying, is that the good news is that your sadness won't last forever, but the bad news is your happiness won't last forever either. In that sense, right? In the sense of what's happening around us. Your true happiness, right, our contentment, does last forever. Just as we are um, eternal within, so can our peace of mind be eternal within. And all we need to do is understand the changeability of things. And when we understand that, and we accept that, right? We hold that in our heart, then all of those normal fluctuations, right? We still have those feelings. We still feel sad and angry and, scared and all of those other feelings, but they are just kind of an outward reaction to what's going on around us. Within, we're at peace because we know this is the way of things. We aren't particularly surprised when bad things happen. We're not particularly surprised when good things happen. We know there will be lots of both, and we're okay with that. We know that is the nature of our life on earth. So, with that in mind, let's move some of that equanimity into our practice. Um, Being at peace with whatever comes, be it good, be it bad, be it indifferent. Um, it's all just things that are happening. So I think we're going to do a practice, and then at the end, when we're finished with our Shavasana, I think I'd like to add a little meditation into the class. And it's, completely up to you whether you want to do it. I would highly recommend it. I'm going to give you a little instruction in it. But what we'll do is just regular class in Shavasana, and then we'll come to a seat, and you want to get comfortable, and we'll just do like a short meditation, maybe like 5 minutes or so, just to kind of get in the habit of it. But of course, so you're reaping the benefits of taking this meditation course now, right? So um, I, I'm on the meditation train. I mean, I've always have meditated, but I really feel like it's something that we can all benefit so much from, especially this time when things feel very unsettled and unstable, maybe in the world. We don't really know what to expect. Things are changing a lot. And when things are so much in flux, it's so important for us to have that stable within. And we build that with meditation. So let's do asana though first. All right. So we're sitting up tall. Deep breath in and out. Breathing in through the nose, back out through the nose. One more breath. Then chin down toward the chest. Moving your head around. Big circle. One way and then the other. And back up to your seat. Lean forward. Moving around. Big circle. One way and the other. Back up to your seat. Arms wide. Take a deep breath. Exhale, hands together. Inhale wide. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. We're gazing up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Once more. Lifting up. Right arm by your side. Reach across with the left. Switch. Back up. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind. Sit up tall. Twist. Back to center. Sitting up and twist. Come back to center. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. Moving back up. A few sets of cat-cow. Loosen up the spine a little. Lower the belly, lift the head. As you draw the breath in, then exhaling, lifting up, gaze down. Just move with your breath. Inhales, exhales. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Things may feel kind of tight, so take your time. Finish up. We're back in tabletop. Flip the toes, lift up, downward dog. Walk your feet up to the hands. You can be in a fold for a few breaths. When you're ready, rising up. Standing tall, deep breath in and out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back with the right. Drop your knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up head and chest. And lower. Moving back up, tabletop to downward dog. Take one more deep breath. On the exhale, step the foot up, right foot. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lifting arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, high plank. Then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Lift, head and chest. And lower. Once more, lifting head and chest or upward dog. Moving back and ending up in downward dog. Take one more breath. And then left foot steps up. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. I gotta move this mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're gonna step back with the left foot. Press down with both feet and rise up. Warrior one. One more breath. And then we're moving to warrior two. Right arm extends out. Left arm behind. Shoulders relaxed. Steady gaze. Inhale, we're flipping the right hand, lift it up high. Left arm by your side. One more breath. And then we're going to bring the right arm down. Rest it on the leg. Pull that left shoulder back. Left arm lifts. Side angle. You can always bring that hand down too if you want. Then we're rising back up. Warrior two, just for a breath. And release your hands. Straighten the right knee. Turn your foot. So we're facing the side of the mat now. Hands at the waist. Take a deep breath. And then we're leaning forward. So just let the body hang here. Let the head hang. You can bring your hands down if you want. Down the leg, onto the mat. Whatever you want to do. If you've got a block, right? You can always use the block for the hands or the forehead. whatever works for you. See how you feel today. Right? We can always do a little more on days where we feel strong. Other days, maybe we do a little less. The trick to getting the benefit from your class is to listen to your body. Listen to what it's trying to tell you. Give it what it needs. Not what you think it should have, not what you think you should be doing, but what you really need. And the only way to figure that out is to listen. Right? Our bodies are trying to communicate with us all day long. You just have to listen. And then let's rise up. Use that leg strength to keep you steady, lift you up. Take a deep breath. If you ever feel lightheaded here, just bring your hands up over your head. It helps. We're going to turn to face the front. Hands behind, interlace the fingers, shoulders back. Take a moment, deep breath here. And then we're folding forward. Right leg is out in front, left leg behind. You might have a bend in the knee if hamstrings feel very tight today. And then let's leave the hands behind. We're going to come up about halfway. Shifting weight into that right side. So we don't really need the left foot for much of anything. And you can experiment. Maybe you can only lift a little bit and you'll set it back down. Maybe you feel steady and you'll lift more. It's really up to you. And you can just experiment with it. Right? How am I feeling today? What can I do? You can always set the foot down if you feel unstable. Right? Having the hands behind is a little bit of, there's a little fear there sometimes. But remember, you can always let go if you need your hands. But keep them back there. See how it feels. And then when you've done enough, set your foot down. We'll step back foot up to the front. Arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Press down with both feet. We're rising up, arms overhead, warrior one. Take one more breath and then move to warrior two. Left arm is out in front, right arm behind. Relax and breathe. Inhale, flip the left hand, lift it up high, right arm by your side. One more breath in. And then we're going to bring the left arm down. Pull that right shoulder back, right arm lifts. Side angle. and rising up. Warrior two again. Hands down by your side. Straighten the knee. Turn your foot. So we're facing the side of the mat again. Deep breath here. I'm going to bring the hands behind, I guess. Well, let's just rotate them. So you got hands at the hips. Move them back toward the back. Squeezing the elbows together as much as you can. Right? They won't really be together, but take a deep breath. Lean forward. So you probably will find you can't come as far forward with your arms like this. That's okay. And come on back up. Release the hands down. Let's bring them up overhead. And back down by your side. Walk the feet in. About shoulder width for your squat. You've got hands together. Take a deep breath. Bend the knees and lower down. So depending on where you are, you can always use the block to kind of lean in, right? So if you're up about halfway, you could kind of lean in a little bit. Give you a little more stability if you like. If you're down lower, if you want to ever work on this pose and you're pretty close, you could put that under, right? Gives you a little stability. You could flip it, right? So we can sit back and then maybe stay in this pose a little bit longer. We're not going to do that because I know you probably don't want to, but if you want to work on this, that's one way to do it. And then come on back up. And hands down by your side. I'm just going to think of different things you can do with blocks and show them to you every time I think of it. So bring this foot out in front. So we get left foot out, right foot back, ready for a fold. Hands behind, interlace the fingers. Squeeze back the shoulders. Breath in. Fold forward. Lifting up, about halfway. Still have the hands behind. We're going to shift the weight and then see about lifting up that leg. Find your steadiness. Whatever feels comfortable for you. If you're not lifting a lot, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just see how it feels today. And if you try a couple times, that's fine. We'll finally just set the foot back down. Back foot steps up to the front. Arms overhead. And back to mountain. Breath in. Breath out. And we'll do a little more balance. So standing on the right for tree. You can have that left leg in. Maybe a kickstand. Maybe up to the calf or higher. Nice and upright with the body. Steady gaze. Eye level or higher. See if you can relax the shoulders so that we're not holding so much tension. Make sure you're not clenching the jaw or holding their breath. Keep breathing. And then set the foot back down. We'll switch sides. This time we're standing on the right. I feel like I was doing this before. I was. So I was telling you left, but I was standing on right. So anyway, whichever one you did before, do the opposite this time. Always doing both sides. That's all we have to remember. Keep breathing. And then set the foot down, bicycle out the legs. And let's come on back to the mat. Up at the top, arms up overhead. Deep breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Inhale, move forward to high plank, and then lower down. Head turns right, arms by your side. Take a few breaths. Bring your head back to center. We're going to start lifting up, head and chest. Lift the arms, lift the legs. Lower down, head turns to the left. Head to center. We're going to set up for cobra, or not cobra, sphinx. You could do cobra, but we're going to do sphinx. So we got elbows close to the body, right underneath the shoulders. Hands pressing down, tops of the feet resting on the mat. And then we're going to sort of pull back the shoulders, gazing forward. Hands are pressing down. And lower. Let's just keep the head to center. You can set the chin or the forehead down. Take a few breaths. And then beginning to move back up. Tabletop to child's pose. Tabletop to downward dog. Step the feet up. Moving into a seated position. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. Deep breath. Lean forward. We're leading with the chest here, keeping the shoulders back. Nice straight back. Sort of visualize everything coming forward. Nice straight back. We're not curving. We're hinging from the hips, not the waist. So that's, one of the things that having the shoulders back does is it encourages that bend from the hips, which is what we're always looking for. We're really never bending at the waist. Twisting, we might be doing in the upper body. Actually, we don't do a lot of twists at the waist. It's mostly we're trying to engage other parts of the body. It's a few. Every time I say we don't do something, then I instantly think of a time that we do it. So take a deep breath in, fold forward. We don't do a lot of it. How about that? Come on back up. Let's bend the right knee. We're going to bring it out to the side. So the foot, right foot is right up against the left thigh. Take a deep breath. Then leaning forward, reaching down with a foot. Breathe. Coming back up. Switch. So right leg is out. Left foot right against the right thigh. Deep breath. Folding forward. And moving back up. Both legs straight in front. Breath in. Fold forward. Walk your hands back up. Bend the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to lower down or rock back. Find a comfortable place on your mat. Take a few breaths. Bend the right knee. Bring that right ankle on top of the left knee. And then we're drawing that left leg in toward the body if possible. If not, you're just going to stay with that foot on the ground. Maybe press that right knee away from the body. Just trying to feel some stretch through the right hip. Setting everything back down. We're going to switch. Same thing here. Whatever you did on one side, let's do the same on the other. And then set the foot down. We're getting ready for bridge. So remember, if you have a block, you could always do supported bridge. You have a time and then you just feel like bridge is out of your wheelhouse for the day, like you're having a lower back issue, or you just don't feel like you can muster up the energy for it. Do supported bridge. It's fine, right? We're not working the legs and the core as much, so it's not as much of a workout, but it's still a nice restful sort of pose that will kind of give you some nice benefits, just different things. But again, we're trying to choose what's right for your body. And I can't know that. You are the only person that knows that. Pressing down, feet and hands. We'll start lifting up. Breathe. And lower down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Relax and breathe. When I tell people things like, you do supported bridge instead of bridge, people always think like, well, but I'll never do bridge. It's hard. I'm not going to do the hard thing. I'm always going to do the easy thing. Well, you might think that, but that's not true. You might do it for a while because it's new, or because it feels good, or because maybe your body really needs it. But there will come a time when you want to do more. So trust yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Don't tell me that you're lazy or always looking for the easy way out, because I know that's not true. Maybe you need an easier path sometimes. That's okay. Don't be afraid to do that. Right? Life doesn't have to always be so hard, such a struggle. When you're ready, you will do whatever needs to be done. Bring your knees together. Rock a little, side to side. And then we're going to bring arms, either arms to a T or goalpost arms. And then we're lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center. And then moving to the left. Back to center. Extend the legs straight up. Hands by your side. And then when you're ready, we're lowering however you want to get there. Both legs to the mat. And then just get comfortable here. You can leave legs extended. You could bend the knees. You could do whatever feels relaxing to you. Right? Traditionally, we do corpse pose laying on our back, Shavasana. But you could do it on your side if laying on your back is really uncomfortable today. Find what works for you today and just go with it. So we're trying to move into this space of deep relaxation. Just letting the body sink down onto the mat. Focus on the breath, maybe. Noticing thoughts that arise, but not getting attached to them or following them, just letting them pass by you. Feeling that deep peace, the sense of really nothing that needs to be done. Our body is breathing. We can notice that. We don't have to focus on it. Right? It happens all by itself. There's nothing we have to do, nowhere we have to go. when you're ready, beginning to move a bit, stretching, moving hands and feet, and then making your way up to a seat. We'll bring hands together, deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time this morning for yoga and for sharing it with me here. I hope you have a really good day. Namaste. Thank you. Hi, Rachel and Ruth and Dora. I don't think I saw you guys before. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of meditation, about 5 minutes. And I'm going to set a timer because we're all going to meditate together because that's great. And I'm going to try to find the meditation timer and program that I use. I'm not super thrilled with because I feel like there's just a lot of ads and things now. And I mean, it's just not the best. Like, I'd prefer to find something that doesn't have any ads. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to look for it and then I'll let you know. But there are so many different ones. You may have one that you already like. Maybe you don't have one. You can look around. You can even use just like a kitchen timer, right? It doesn't have to be a fancy app, but the apps are nice because they have different types of bells, and a lot of times they'll keep track of it for you. So if you are someone who's motivated by numbers and statistics, you'll be able to look back and see how much you've meditated, which is always fun. So I would recommend, if you have something that you could sit on, it might be helpful because 5 minutes doesn't seem like very long, but when you're sitting still, it can feel like a long time, especially if you're sitting on the hard floor. So if you have a pillow or cushion, you could sit on your block. That's not the worst thing, sitting on it flat. I have this thing, which is a meditation cushion. This is full of, I think it's buckwheat hulls. You can feel them. They're like kind of crunchy. These are kind of good because it indents when you sit, but it's very firm. So doesn't squish down like a pillow or a cushion might. I also have these guys, which I haven't used in a while. So this is a set. I think Rachel has one of these. So this is the block, right? I think it's called the Zafu, right? They call this a Zafu, and this is a very firm. It's definitely foam, but it's very firm. And then there's this thing that they put on the bottom, which is for your feet, so that your feet have something to rest on that's a little soft. And this is this is kind of feels like almost like a futon type material, like stuffing, whatever. So yeah, lots of different things. But I'm just going to sit on this. So you get yourself comfortable. You're just finding a way to sit up. You can even sit in a chair, right? There's no special thing about sitting on the floor. You're just trying to find a place that's comfortable for you. Chairs are good if you can sit nice and upright. You just want to make sure that your shoulders are above your hips, so you're not kind of slouching down. And let's just start doing some breathing to start, okay? So close your eyes and take some deep breaths. In through the nose, back out through the nose. So we have just finished practice, Shavasana and everything. So you feel pretty relaxed, pretty ready to kind of settle down. Asana itself was kind of developed as a way to get yogis in the frame of mind to sit for meditation for long periods of time, to kind of move the body and get yourself into this space where you're receptive to this type of behavior and activity. Um, so, this is kind of an ideal time to do a little meditation. So, keep moving the breath through the body. And as you're breathing, notice where the breath is going. Do you feel that movement down in the belly, in the abdominal area? Do you feel some movement? You can bring your hands down there to see, right? Is my belly moving, or is it just all up here in the chest? If it is, see if you can mindfully relax this area lower. Let the breath move lower into the body. So, this kind of deep breathing is very relaxing. It slows down all of the processes that are going on in the body. So, as you are breathing, you have the eyes shut. We're going to focus on the space just in front of the shut eyes. Think of that space as kind of a blank canvas or screen. And we may observe thoughts, images, random bits of information that our mind is generating. Watch them pass like images on a screen or a canvas. Think of things being painted on a canvas and then moving on, more things are coming. So the thoughts, the feelings, those sensations, they're all moving on, but the canvas, the screen, it remains. And we are just observing. Coming back to that space. You may focus on a mantra that we've spoken about this before, this idea of mantra. Maybe a small word, that is meaningful to you, something like peace or kindness or relax or let go. You could focus on a sound, maybe Om. You could focus on an image, whatever helps you to stay steady, to stay at peace. Beginning meditation. So, opening your eyes when you're ready, coming out of your meditation. Okay, a couple of you stuck in, stuck with me on that. How was it? Isn't it 5 minutes is really a long time when you are sitting still and quiet? It's amazing how often I think, oh my gosh, is my phone working? Is the timer even working? It's gotta be 5 minutes. So it's okay. If you have those thoughts, just let them go. Come back to your focus. It's all good. So yeah, I'm gonna send some stuff out about meditation for you guys. I don't know if you're aware. I mean, periodically, the news will have stories and everything, but I don't know if you're aware of all of the health benefits, mental health benefits, but even physical health benefits, lowering blood pressure, lowering all kinds of, just different things. We're putting ourselves in a really optimal state for healing when we are in meditation. Um, the body is sort of taking over, doing some of these um, tasks, these healing tasks that happen during sleep, also happen during meditation. So, taking a little meditation break during the day is a great idea. Um, doesn't have to be long. I mean, you can work up to longer if you like to, um, but even just 5 minutes is great. They usually recommend try to do it twice a day if you can. If you're doing it in the morning with me here, then maybe before you go to bed. And it's perfectly fine to do it in bed before you go to sleep, like laying down. But you probably will fall asleep, right? So, but it's fine. You can sort of make your falling asleep part of your meditation, right? So, kind of moving into sleep from there. It's not a bad thing at all. You could also meditate a little in the morning, like right before you get up. But it's nice to also develop a sitting practice so that you aren't feeling like the only way you can get into meditation is laying down. You don't have to. You can do it sitting up as well. So, thank you for sticking with me with that. And we'll do a little more as we go along. Um, but we'll probably just stick to 5 minutes for now because people have stuff to do and we're getting on with our day. So, namaste. Thank you for coming to class. And I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow because it's Saturday. But I may or may not see you if you don't normally come to Saturday class. Might see you Monday. All right.